everyone has such a bad connotation in their head about lawyers and why the number one ABA bar complaint is lack of communication. So fixing this problem, creating a solution that allows lawyers and staff to provide a very easy and efficient, effective way to communicate with clients and update them, giving the client a better experience, making them feel very informed as to what's going on and empowering them with information on their case and knowing what to expect, providing that better client experience, saving the lawyer time communicating, allowing attorneys to make more money. And then also in providing that better client experience, how can we utilize our current clients to grow our firm through reviews and referrals?
Welcome to the Women in Legal podcast with Chelsea Lambert, where we share the stories of women who are making waves in the legal industry as leaders in law, practicing attorneys, or by working as specialists in areas like legal technology or legal marketing. Listen and be inspired to grow in your own career or find the perfect speaker for your next event.
Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Women in Legal podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Lambert, and today our guest is Lauren Sturdivant, CEO and attorney, also the founder of Case Status. And so I could not be more excited about today. We've been talking quite a bit leading up to our episode because we're doing the product review of Case Status. You just had some really, really exciting news that Bob Ambrogi posted on Law Sites. Congratulations on your first round of investment. Lauren, we are just so stoked to have you here today. Welcome.
Great. Getting to know you more and following all of your amazing things that you're doing. So honored to be on today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, one of the reasons that we wanted to connect, we've been chatting it up, and you reached out to me, and I remember we sat down for coffee at ABA Tech Show last year. And there's really been this groundswell of and focus on the need to improve the client experience between consumers and their relationship with their attorney and the law firm, for a variety of reasons that we can get into and talk about. But Case Status, which everyone will start to hear a tremendous amount more about, I can just guarantee you that right now, is the passion that you have behind it, the innovation, the application of Nps Score. I mean, can you tell me a little bit about it? I know you're an attorney, so where did that fire really start? And just a little bit about your background for our audience and listeners on where you started, how you transitioned from attorney to CEO of a legal tech company, what really made you take that leap of faith and jump in?
Definitely. Being a former lawyer, I practiced in South Carolina and Ohio, and I have a deep love and respect for the legal profession. And I know hard work that lawyers and staff do every single day to help clients through some of the most difficult things in their life. And the work that they do is so incredibly important, but it can be a very difficult and stressful job. And the majority of stressors that I and experience personally was dealing with the relationship with clients and managing that. And I witnessed this disconnect throughout my years of practice. And as we know, lawyers and staff are busy. They want to focus on their cases and resolving cases and growing the firm. They don't want to field phone calls all day just to merely give updates on things that when there's no update to really give. But of course, on the other hand, clients are going through this difficult point. They're nervous. They don't understand the process. This communication breakdown happens all the time, and clearly it causes a breakdown sometimes between the lawyer and the client relationship, and why everyone has such a bad connotation in their head about lawyers and why the number one ABA bar complaint is lack of communication. So fixing this problem, creating a solution that allows lawyers and staff to provide a very easy and efficient, effective way to communicate with clients and update them, giving the client a better experience, making them feel very informed as to what's going on and empowering them with information on their case and knowing what to expect, providing that better client experience, saving the lawyer time communicating, allowing attorneys to make more money. And then also in providing that better client experience, how can we utilize our current clients to grow our firm through reviews and referrals? So I left my job in August of 2017 to fix this problem, and my team and I created Case Status. And during that early time, we had early firms on the platform and just really honed in and listened and learned from them what they needed to help manage the client relationship, to provide that better experience, what things we could add to the product to really save them time, and then how also can we effectively utilize current clients to grow the firms. So this problem really resonated with others. We applied to Techstars and were chosen as a Techstars company. We were backed by Cox Enterprises, and we, as you mentioned, thank you for announcing that for us. We're so excited that we just recently closed our venture round, and really excited because we certainly see client success needs to be in legal. It's going to make everyone's lives better, and it's a win-win for both the success of law firms and the success of clients. So we're super excited to be kind of leading this vertical in legal at this point.
Absolutely. And I mean, the situations that you described, not only have I seen from a coaching perspective when working with small and solo attorneys, but also as a legal consumer. I think I'm personally the legal hotline for all of my friends because they have no idea where to start, how to reach out to an attorney. They're afraid of what that could potentially cost them. As you mentioned, and we talk a lot about this in your product review, is that the situation that a consumer might be in when they're working with an attorney is not always the happiest time of their life. Other than starting a business or buying a new home or a piece of property, typically that's a very emotionally charged situation or something where there could be a potential consequence or a lot riding on the outcome of that particular case or decision or settlement. So with that period of silence that happens between when an attorney actually starts working on your case and their heads down and they're plugging away and letters are going out and calls are being made, the client doesn't really have visibility into any of that actually happening. And so what I loved about your vision for Case Status was the comfort level that it provided to so many legal consumers. And you've more than proof of concept, you've run over 10,000 cases through the platform in a very, very short period of time. So that in and of itself shows the power of how quickly it can be adopted and the need there behind what you're providing. And if you have a chance to get into Case Status and really dig in and look at it, there's your application of the NPS score. I'd like to hear a little bit more from you on how you folded it in so elegantly, because NPS score is something that is incredibly powerful and has been proven. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, it stands for Net Promoter Score. And it really is the ability to, if you can get a score from your client on a 1 to 10 scale as to how happy they are, it will actually dictate the likelihood that they will refer another client to you, or that they will post a positive review online. And so, but it can be very difficult to get a gauge on that sense of where the client is, because you have to manually create a survey, you have to send it out. There's a lot of logistical challenges and, quite honestly, just a lot of tedious work that goes into collecting NPS score information and data. And so what's really amazing about Case Status is that not only is it providing you with that NPS score, but it's doing it at every touch point, at every stage of the case. And so can you tell me kind of how you combined your research around NPS with your vision and the development of the Case Status app?
Definitely. So this concept of customer success exists in pretty much almost every other industry, and for some reason it just has lagged behind in legal. But you can see some of the leading juggernaut companies that obsessively use NPS to grow, for example, Amazon and Google. So this concept, exactly like you said, Chelsea, is NPS is essentially how likely are you to recommend this lawyer or this law firm to others. And this score indicates client satisfaction, and it helps you assess customer loyalty, the overall perception of your firm's brand, and then obviously it helps you get better and learn from those things, and then also to grow your firm using those particular advocates. So calculating NPS involves essentially surveying clients, asking them on a scale from 1 to 10 how likely they are to recommend your firm or colleague. And the people that score at a 9 or a 10 are considered your promoters. They're clients that are really happy with your firm, and they would be considered very likely to recommend you to others. People who score 7 and 8 on that scale are considered kind of indifferent. They're just as likely to hire or for other friends or other firms as they are your firm. And then the 1 through 6 scoring are considered detractors, and they're considered unhappy, would not hire you again, and may actually influence other people not to hire you. So determining NPS, you kind of factor in all of these things. And as you mentioned, how our platform works is we actually track this score all throughout the case for each individual client. So the firm has insight into their associates, and into the relationships going on within their firm like they've never had before. And then we provide the firm with an overall score for all of their attorneys, and then the scoring individually. So, you can get ahead of problems before they really become problems, right? Or you can who your best and happiest clients are, and really, hone in on them and ask them for reviews and referrals, et cetera, because they are so happy with your services.
And that also bridges a gap that the managing partners and leadership within law firms often struggle with, which is how do you come up with attorney compensation plans, bonus structures, incentive programs, so that you retain your associates over time, and you also curb behaviors that may not be beneficial to the firm if they're a great rainmaker, but a lot of their clients are unhappy. That can give you some insider information that you may not notice from the outside because they're bringing in new business. So having this type of data at the associate level or the attorney level, I think is really, really powerful from a management perspective, and also provides the type of data where you can rethink what a traditional law firm compensation plan looks like, and now base it on the delivering that amazing client experience, which as you pointed out at the beginning of today's episode, that we are comparing everything to Amazon. We are comparing and Zappos and every other online retailer or in-person physical location that we might be shopping at, loyalty programs, reward points, instant shipping. There's in the instant gratification movement has taken over our lives, and this also lives on the mobile device, which plays to the strengths of the program as well, because it's something that's very accessible. And I know my own legal experiences that things always, that they're going to take a long time, but you're not really mentally prepared for how long that could potentially take. I mean, I had a very, very minor car accident, but there was a discrepancy over medical bills that took over 2 years to sort out. And that's something where at certain times, had I not known the attorney personally and been in the legal space, I probably would have been very frustrated and potentially shopped and looked for another law firm. So just having the ability, one of my favorite features in case status is you have triggers where even if something has not been logged or a case status has not been updated, it will automatically just send out kind of a touch point message. So even in the background, if there's nothing tremendously new to report or a new status that they're moving to or a milestone to share, there's still little touch points of communication letting the client know that you're thinking about them.
Yes, exactly. And that was a very big value add that we added to the product, to the automation. So you can set at a client level, you can set triggers, to where if you have a particularly, I don't want to say needy, but a client that really wants to know what's going on often, you can set a trigger for, as often as you want. If you want them to have a daily touch point, if you want them to have a touch point every 30 days from a practice area perspective, you can do that. We also have automation in terms of specific practice areas. For example, personal injury, when the client is going to treatment, just a touch, automated touch where, is anything new going on? Have you been to the doctor? Where have you been lately? And just keeping really close, vigilant track of that, which is, that's, people spend a lot of time doing that, whether it's a paralegal or the attorney, and just following up with clients when they are actively treating. And to be able to have those automated, it's just hours of time saved. And it also, of course, makes the client feel this high level touch through this automation, which is really great.
Absolutely. And so we've talked a lot about the product, and now I'd kind of like to shift gears a little bit and talk about your own transition from practicing attorney to life as a startup co-founder and entrepreneur. And, it really is, we talked about this very candidly on our call the other day, but it is all consuming. And I think that when you really go all in on your idea, it's all the other moving parts of your life are now areas that you have to balance and you have to manage. And so Techstars is nothing short of an incredibly rigorous program. It's very, very demanding. I mean, the rewards are incredibly great, but what was that transition like? Can you share a little bit with us about your own personal experience going through the Techstars program, now being a CEO, leading a team? I mean, that's a really, really complicated journey to have happened in a very short period of time for you.
Yes, it is a crazy journey. As a lot of people know in the startup world, they compare it to jumping out of an airplane, not knowing if the chute is going to work. But you see in your mind's eye what you're trying to do and your mission, and that's obviously what drives you. But yes, it's very difficult, and I think early on, I wanted to do it all. I wanted to be it all, and I realized that that's just not really possible. So I really have kind of followed Randy Zuckerberg theory on this. I don't know if you've heard this, but it's just not realistic to do everything and to be well balanced at the same time. Either you're going to burn out or fall short, and you're not going to accomplish anything at the highest level. So her theory for success is to pick 3 areas of your life you want to focus on daily. So, and those areas include work, sleep, family, friends, and fitness. And every day, kind of look to those and see, okay, what today is really, really important. Work being whether it's you're deriving money or it's passion or a sense of contribution, but whenever you're giving your time and deriving value, that's considered work. Obviously, sleep and family are pretty understandable, but friends kind of meaning side hobbies, as well as friendships. And then fitness is kind of reflecting this broader sense of self-care, emotional well-being, mindfulness, stress relief, healthy eating, etc. And being able to pick 3 things each day to focus on essentially gives you permission to do the 3 things with a kind of excellence that's going to really catapult you further than kind of essentially half-assing a bunch of things. So I really live by that. And I think when you do that daily, it really makes you feel balanced. And it also makes you feel successful in all areas of your life.
And I couldn't agree more. And it's interesting. We didn't necessarily preface that I follow the same the same strategy, is that it's really, really hard. I mean, those are the 5 areas of your life. I mean, just fitness and sleep alone, that's a choice that you have to make, and you have to schedule around it. And it's so easy to want to please, to want to be the person that's there. I think one of the hardest things is, when friends and family are going through difficult times in your life, having to choose between your business and being there for them. And, that's probably one of the hardest areas that I've struggled with, that I know a lot of women entrepreneurs struggle with, of, you're on your way to an event, or you've got a huge deadline, or you have to do a product release, and someone's going through a really difficult time. And that emotionally, I think, is very challenging. And also making the choice between those 5 things can be very emotionally draining too. So having a support group in your life, and then also having all of your friends and family on the same page and educated about what it is that you're doing, your mission. You talk about your mission and your purpose, and by making it crystal clear and explaining to them, where you want to be and why you're doing this. I think you're having been in a family, where you're exposed to the legal field, and other members of your family are in the profession can help. But having everybody on the same page when you have to make the choice between those 5 things is a really critical part of being an entrepreneur as well.
100%. And I am a mom as well. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and early on, I really struggled, especially as I entered Techstars, and I had to be away from her, traveling a lot and doing different things like that. So one of the things that I instill in her is when you have a dream, follow a dream, right? But at the same time, she's number one, and she's a priority always. But the time that I do spend with her is really quality time. And I think that accomplishes both goals, right? She feels the love and support, and she has her mom, but she's also has a role model as well. Because I hope the same for her. I want her to follow her dreams too, right? So that's my hope and goal, to teach other women that they can have it all, but in a different way of doing it all the time.
Right. Well, and realistic expectations of yourself. I mean, you mentioned, burnout, and that is a very real thing. And I think we push ourselves to the point where something's got to give. And being a role model is also to our children and everyone around us, is also the ability to be humble and know when you need to take a step back, when you do need to spend that time with family. And that can be a very difficult thing too, because it feels like, and sometimes that, you're not necessarily putting things on pause, but it's just a recognition of, how much you can realistically get done in a day, and coming back to those 5 things and figuring out what's a priority based on what might be happening in your life, or other people that you care about in their lives. So on that note, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to women who are pursuing a career in legal tech, who might be thinking about taking that leap and starting their own company, to chasing their dreams and chasing their ideas, or even just as an attorney in the practice of law? Is there one single thread of or habit or piece of advice that you could share with our audience?
Totally. Well, I think there's one thing foundationally, one thing business-wise, and then one thing on a personal note. But in terms of advice that I'd like to share, but foundationally, always start with why. Having a career as a lawyer, or just in law, legal tech, whatever it is of this profession, it's really difficult, but very rewarding. And when you stay true to your why, and why it's really important to you personally, and your goal in providing value, whatever that value is, should always be at the foundation of your business. Because when times get tough, you always need to come back to that. And that needs to be the foundation for you and your team. In terms of business, I would say always ask questions, because when you have your why, you need to figure out your how, right? And the only way that you're going to figure out how to get to your why is by being adaptable to the market, and really learning and listening and putting your own kind of thoughts away sometimes and listening to the market. I think that from a business perspective, that was a big lesson that I learned early on. And then on a personal note, the best advice I would say is, as a woman, being confident in who you are, because you're amazing and you're enough the way you are, and don't feel like you have to change for anybody. So always be confident in who you are. And I would say support other women, because no one else is running your race. And in working together and supporting each other in our missions, we will all win. So I would say that that's a big one in terms of the woman perspective that I'd like to share.
Yeah, those are fantastic, and every single one of them so true and so important. And I love you don't need to change. And I think fundamentally, it's people are who they are. And the more that we can own and embrace our own strengths and superpowers and our why, helps us be better role models and examples and more successful as we chase down all of our oftentimes very aggressive ambitions.
Right, exactly. And it's the true key to happiness, I think, too, when you really are true to yourself, and you don't have to worry about others in that way anymore. When you free yourself of that, you can do anything.
Amazing words, and to absolutely ones to live by every day. Sometimes having to remind ourselves of that multiple times throughout the day when doubt creeps in, or when you're having that, get off of a rough phone call or something else. Just always remind yourself of Lauren's piece of advice. And to wrap up today, even though I think we could probably talk for a week about all the amazing things that you're doing in case status, and I can't wait to see where you are this time next year. And we'll be keeping tabs on you as you grow. Where can people learn more about you, case status, and the incredible work that you're doing?
You can go ahead and go to casestatus.com to learn more. We have a blog on there that you can follow, and just how to make client relationship and client success an important part of your firm. And so there's lots of really great information there. And then also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I am on there and post a lot of really great stuff, and feel free to email me personally. I'd love to hear from you. It's Lauren@casestatus.com.
Fantastic. Well, Lauren, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you. I can't wait for our paths to cross in person so we can catch up again soon. And in the meantime, please keep an eye out or check out Lex Tech Review for the case status webinar, where Lauren shows off all of the hard work that has gone into creating an incredible product that improves the client experience for your legal clients, and also your product review.
Sounds great. Thanks, Chelsea. And I look forward to seeing you and having a cocktail and a cheers soon.
Yes, definitely. Long overdue. And congratulations again on all your success. Until next time, this has been the Women in Legal podcast. We appreciate everyone listening and sharing these episodes with colleagues, friends, and aspiring female women in legal, entrepreneurs, and attorneys. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for listening to the Women in Legal podcast with Chelsea Lambert. To hear more, please subscribe.